What is up, YouTube? MKM Tech here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a very basic beginner tutorial on how to actually set up a virtual machine using VirtualBox. Now, considering the fact that this is through VirtualBox, this virtual machine will be a guest OS on top of another host OS, which is going to be the computer that we are using. So let's get started with that. VirtualBox, which is pretty simple. If you're on Google here, you can just search up VirtualBox. You're going to want to click this link here. It could be the first link, second, third, whatever, but you are going to want to click this link here that says Oracle VirtualBox. And this is when we are going to download the version of it that we need. Since I am clearly using Windows 11 here, we're going to click download. And like before, when I mentioned the host being whatever your computer is running, since I am running Windows at the moment, I'm going to download the Windows host version, which that shouldn't take too long to download. Once we've got that downloaded, click that there. Obviously a simple setup, nothing too crazy. Pretty much just click through all this stuff, all this good jazz. And while we let that download, we are going to move over to the actual operating system download that we are going to make here. So obviously, depending on what operating system you want to use, that is personally your choice, but to make things sweet and simple, I am going to do Windows 11. So what you're going to do here is go on Google, search up Windows 11. Microsoft already has the download set for anybody to get for free. Now, as you see here, we have these different installation methods. We have the system, we have the installation media for if you want to leave Windows on a USB or anything like that. But since we are just simply setting up a virtual machine, we are going to want to download the ISO file. Now personally, I just go with that, the multi edition, because since we are doing it for a virtual machine. Also, just opening this up, this is what your VirtualBox is going to look like when you open it up. These two here are just virtual machines that I already made, and I guess they stay with the actual VirtualBox here. But after we've got that installed, we're going to sit here and download the ISO. Now the ISO file might take longer than the VirtualBox load. Usually, downloading operating systems takes up a decent amount of space. So obviously here we're going to click English, confirm that. Now you should get the 64-bit download depending on, obviously if you're on a 64-bit device or not. But yeah, like I said, this download might take a little bit. It is 7.2 gigs, but I will get back with you guys as soon as that download is finished. Okay, we are back. We should be good to go. So as you see here, the ISO file did end up downloading, 7.2 gigs, ready to go. So like I said before, we're going to be going back to VirtualBox. Now this is where everything's really going to get started. So first things first, you're going to want to click new right here. Now obviously you can make the VM name whatever you want. I'm just going to say Windows 11 test. And next thing you want to do is click right here where it says ISO image. This is where it's going to give you the option to look for the actual ISO file itself. What I'm going to do here is click that right there, Windows 11, 64-bit, good to go. Now next thing that we're going to do is set up unattended guest OS installation. Now really here, I guess it's not liking the name that I picked. Let's do Win 11.2, that'll work, okay. Win 11.2, this is really where you just search up, set up your username and password for what it's going to be whenever you log on, kind of just like a normal computer. So I'm just going to put admin as a username. I guess we can do abc123 as the password, abc123, and it should let me go ahead with that. Next thing we're going to do here is the virtual hardware. Now this part, usually I personally like to go with 8 gigs of RAM, around there. Obviously if you have less than 8 gigs of RAM, you can go with 4 if it really comes down to that. Cores, I normally like to do 4 here. And for the virtual hard disk, obviously this isn't your entire, it's not actually using up this much space, but what happens here is you end up setting a virtual amount of what actual space you would have on the virtual machine that you can use. So my safe space, I always go with 60. That's just personal preference. And then after that, click enter, you can start that up. Now right here is powering up. It's first boot up for this. Now just like a normal setup for Windows 11, once you get a new computer or reinstall operating system or whatever you end up doing, that you're in a situation where you have to set up Windows. It's the same exact thing, nothing different here, just kind of like a computer on another computer. Best way that I like to explain it personally. But let's see what we got going here. Let's retry that. Okay, I don't know why it's doing this. We're just gonna click enter. Hopefully that time it lets us go through. All right, bingo, we're good to go. So whenever you see this dark blue background right here, that normally lets you know that you've officially loaded into Windows itself. That's usually what I look for. Like I said before, you can close out anything you want. Finally got ourselves loaded into Windows now. Obviously, it's going to start with the basic installation of Windows. This shouldn't take too long. But obviously, I'll skip through this. Once it's done downloading, I will be back with you guys again. Alright guys, I am back. Now after that installation screen, you should have went into another installation screen that had a black background and then the basic Windows setup. As you can see here, I am on Windows 11 on top of my Windows 11. This is pretty much just how the virtual machine is going to work. You can treat it like a normal computer. Obviously, it's not going to have all of the same capabilities, but for basic needs, pretty simple. Being a college student myself, I've worked a lot with VirtualBox and needing to make virtual machines and working with Hyper-V and things like that. But yeah, this is the best way to explain that, and hopefully I have more videos in the future.